had a question last night from a farmer when I was telling him that we were going to have these discussions. He says, I just really want to know, where do I find who my dealers are, and am I locked into them? And I thought, really, you don't know these questions? But I think it's a valid question, and I'd love to hear from each of you. How do you recommend farmers, find the person they're supposed to have that relationship with? And I'll just start with you, Kyle.
As far as finding relationships, I urge people to use word of mouth. Find someone in your community, someone that you respect and trust in your community, and find out what they do, who they're using as a resource, and try to pick their brains, ask them for a reference, and just get to know the people that they're doing business with, what kind of relationship they have with them, what kind of trust factor they have with them. Don't be afraid, certainly don't be afraid with the suppliers and the people that you're doing business with to ask them how they're doing financially. I think that's okay today. In the past, it may be a little bit of a touchy situation to get into, but I think when it's your business and you're hopefully treating your farming as a business, that it's critically important that the people that, like I said, that you're doing business with are financially stable enough to be able to meet their demands.
Yeah, I think it's a mistake to feel like you're tied into any one given supplier or dealer. Certainly there are extenuating circumstances if it's a relationship beyond just a purchase. If that happens to be a local dealer, seed is a good example. If it's a seed dealer that you've got a relationship with, potential acres in the future, certainly those things matter and need to be taken into consideration. But it's become such an important part of the whole process. You don't get up the 15th of April and drive into the elevator and buy your seed corn anymore. At least I hope you're not. It's a lot bigger decision than that. So making sure that you are comfortable with who you're doing business with that's huge. It's very, very important. And I think Kyle makes some really good points in the word of mouth and who are some folks that you trust and who are they doing business with. And those are the people you need to seek out. And certainly if you've got a local guy that you're just not comfortable with, maybe he isn't as knowledgeable as he needs to be. He's not meeting your expectations. You don't have to do business with that guy. And don't ever feel like you have to. Do you feel like you have to buy a car at the local car dealership, or can you go someplace else? It's really no different. You need to do business where you're comfortable. And that's something that as you go forward, you shouldn't have to apologize for that either. If someone's not meeting your expectations, that's not your fault. So.
Okay, and I think both of these two made excellent points there, but I would certainly stress the peer network that you have developed or will continue to develop throughout your careers. That's a great way to get a lead in as to who you might be able to trust. And from there, I think really being a young producer, having the right mentality when you first encounter that person, making sure that you're asking the questions that are critical to your business, and being able to evaluate if they're a credible source. I think it was a great point that you don't have to buy from any one person. It's up to you, and that is ultimately up to you. But asking those questions of the supplier is absolutely critical, because you have certain needs, and I know from my experiences a lot of the times we have a tendency to label a salesperson or a supplier as show up and throw up, and they're here to sell me what's on their agenda, and that's not what you guys are looking for. So I would encourage you to make sure that you're looking at this relationship from a mutually beneficial standpoint, so that it's something that you're not just getting what they're selling that day, you're getting what your operation really needs.
Well, I think all three of us had great points here, and I agree with all of those points. Yeah, word of mouth, I think, is still one of the best things that you can do. You definitely need to look at what your needs are, and does that dealer supply those needs that you need. Also, as we've talked about consolidation, there's a lot of consolidation, a lot of changes going on out there. You need to be aware of what's going on in that realm of things. It's not like that Joe's always going to be there. There's a lot of changes, and sometimes we think change is going this way, and it turns and goes another way. So I'd also question about putting all my eggs in one basket. You need to be making relationships and having contact with other people, and be ready to make the change if the marketplace changes and you weren't involved in. So again, I think everyone has already covered this well about all these other points here, but just make sure that they somebody you can trust and keep up with what the change is going to be. Then you're going to be able to make those changes with the marketplace as it makes.